The cryptocurrency market is currently being eviscerated. In this video, I want to talk about what just took place because there is a huge catalyst driving the downward move we're seeing right now. We're going to talk about how much it's something to worry about, how much it's something to ignore, and what I'm doing in this situation. Guys, make sure to smash the like button. Renovating the office, a ton of work going into it. Your support, your comments have all been incredible. A lot of them have been super funny to read. So really appreciate everything, and so many people have reached out and said such nice things. So guys, thank you so much. You guys are absolutely incredible. A lot of people offer me all kinds of things, but guys, the only thing I really ask is just the simple act of hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. That's all I ask for on this channel. So let's jump into it and talk about exactly what's happening. It probably doesn't take much insight to see that the market is getting nuked right now. And the question is why exactly is this happening? Well, guys, we just got the catalyst for why this was taking place, and it looks like a lot of people knew this was going to happen. There was a lot of front running, but essentially what just took place is that Trump just imposed a massive tariff on China. Now, I had an opinion on tariffs back when Trump did this the first time around, and personally, I think tariffs are a good policy. I mean, I think it's a good way to get these countries to act like the United States wants them to in terms of trading. So I have nothing wrong with tariffs. Now, the market clearly does not like tariffs, and it's not something that I necessarily fully understand in terms of why the market looks at these things so negatively. But just look at the reaction, the market's not happy about them. Now, my personal opinion is that this is a huge overreaction from the market. There is no justifiable reason for why the market is getting hit the way it is based off this tariff announcement. If anything, these tariffs are extremely bullish for things like cryptocurrency, and let me explain why. All of this comes down to disagreements between countries, trade negotiations going good, going bad, a lack of trust between different organizations and institutions with one another, and all of this creates this essentially big congestion in global trade. No one can agree on anything. Everyone wants to play by a different set of rules. Some people want to do one thing, other people want to do another thing. And all of this just keeps creating distrust between countries. And one of the things that David Schwartz has highlighted so many times is that one of the biggest use cases, one of the most important things about cryptocurrency is they solve the trust problem. No longer do you have to trust any given person or trust any given entity. Instead, you just trust totally neutral, decentralized code, and that allows you to do trade and do business with people you might not trust. So this whole paradigm, right, is actually very good for digital assets. In fact, I talk about on this channel all the time. People always ask me, what's the biggest downside for something like XRP? What's the biggest downside for cryptocurrencies? And that would be responsible government and trust between all nations, right? Because if everyone just agreed that, hey, you know what, we don't need multiple currencies, we can just create a world dollar, and everyone uses the world dollar moving forward. If people could just agree on stuff like that, you wouldn't really need a bridge currency, and in fact, you probably wouldn't need decentralized forms of money because everyone would have complete trust in one another. But it doesn't make sense because you're always going to have parties acting their own interests. And as long as there's independent parties out there, there's always going to have different interests. And everyone's going to pursue their own interests, and that's why you need a decentralized neutral cryptocurrency in the middle. So it's so interesting to me that tariffs are being seen as this big, negative, bad thing by the market, when in fact, in my eyes, it moves us closer to this world that cements the use case and the desire and the need for the cryptocurrencies that you and I own. So that's the first thing I really wanted to talk about here. Now, in terms of the market action, it's really hard to say how much of this is organic and real versus how much of this is manipulation by institutions. Now, I will say this. We're currently going through what is usually the shakeout, right? This big red candle that drops down and everyone is freaking out and panicking. Oh, when is the bottom going to happen? This is typically the bullish sign you like to see. Typically, this is the last big shakeout, the last big get out of here, everyone buy the dip, market rebounds, and then we're up and to the right. Like, we can also see that over the past couple months, almost every single time prior to the market taking off, we have had these spikes down. We have had these big liquidation events. So to me, it's actually an indication in all likelihood that we're getting towards the back end of the current downward trend we've been stuck in. Typically in bear markets, you have this slow grind downwards, and every single day it's just like negative and negative. But when you have these big capitulations to the downside, normally you see strong buying pressure, and that's normally a reverse in the trend. So in terms of the long-term proposition for the cryptocurrency market, is this great? Is this what we wanted to see? Not necessarily, right? We would have much rather seen things break to the upside and everything being moving in the up direction. But given the negative catalyst and given the fact that the market was already trending in a negative direction, it just seemed like these tariffs were the last straw. It was the last thing the market wanted to take ultimately before this big flash crash downward we have seen. Now, a lot of people are putting posts all over X talking about how we're in a bear market, the bull market is over, you missed the top, oh, there is no Q4, there's no October, right? We're going into the super negative catalyst 4-year bear market. I'll say right now, all those same people were talking about a bull market a couple months ago. People, especially those big accounts all over the place, right? Like, they make a lot of their calls based off of what the market is doing, and they get a lot of attention when the market's going in a direction that they say it's going in. They'll say they were calling it the entire time. They weren't. They just go with wherever the market's going. They don't have any thesis. For me, the idea here that these tariffs are somehow negative and going to derail things like 30 to 100 ETFs crossing the finish line, in my opinion, it's comical, right? This is going to be a short-term blip on the radar. The last time we went into this tariff debacle, everyone freaked out and they said, oh, it's the end of the bull market, things are going negative, and guess what? A couple weeks later, everyone forgot about tariffs because they were no longer an issue. The tariffs being put on China right now from President Trump could go away tomorrow. China could agree to a new trade deal, and this could all disappear. And even if it didn't disappear, I still don't understand why this is somehow potentially negative when it actually increases the reliance, the utility, the need for cryptocurrencies into the future. So is this bull market altering? Is this the end of it? Guys, I personally don't see how that would be the case. In my opinion, XRP is so far undervalued right now where it's currently trading, it's almost comical. And I don't see any single way that all the positive news and all the things happening in the market would be derailed by something that's totally unrelated to the cryptocurrency market. Things were a lot different back during the Terra Luna and FTX days, right? Where it's like an implosion in the infrastructure for crypto. That was completely different. This, on the other hand, is just so unrelated. I can't see how this would be the thing that shakes everyone out. If you've been around cryptocurrency for a while, you've seen a whole bunch of things like this happen. Whether or not it was China banning cryptocurrency, whether or not it was India banning cryptocurrency, whether or not it was the United States suing people like Ripple. Like, these kind of things happen all the time. These flash crashes take place. But ultimately, there's only one big loser when it's all said and done. And normally it's either the people who don't take advantage of the dip going on, or it's the people who panic sell and get caught up in this frenzy. All these posts going around how it's the end of the bull market. If you don't take profits now, you're going to miss out. I'll tell you right now, generally, if you're selling on a huge red candle, right, you're probably not going to be timing it right. The majority of people, if you do trade, if you do try to get in and out of these things, if it's a game you like playing, me personally, it's not a game I like playing, you want to be selling when everyone's telling you, oh, $1 million is right around the corner, right? Not when you have a huge red candle staring you in the face. That is where most people make the wrong reaction. That is where most people make the wrong decision, because ultimately it's an emotional decision, right? I think if everyone just didn't look at the charts today, right, the fundamentals would be the same as they were yesterday. Price is reflecting something different because there's panic in the market, there's manipulation. But if you're able to tune that stuff out and understand, hey, a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. Doesn't change my thesis. Maybe it's even bullish for my thesis, right? Maybe this is even further proof that, God, we need better trade. We need better systems. We need better vehicles to conduct global finance. If those things are the case, and you only walk away from this more confident in your investment. And if something was priced at X price a couple days ago, and your investment thesis just got stronger, right? That should only be a bullish case for saying, okay, well, now I'm just getting a deal on this asset that I wasn't getting before. So zooming out and looking out, yeah, look, this is going to slow things down a little bit in terms of when the next move upward is going to be. We need to see recovery. We need to see a green candle come in. We need to see volume come back. We need to get some clarity on what's going on in this tariff situation, right? We need to get all these things. Things are going to slow down a little bit. It's going to take a little bit more time for us to recover. But let's see where things stall out. I have a really hard time believing this is the bear market. This is just that typical 4-year cycle. We're just going to keep going into these pound. Like, all of that just seems way too soon to be calling. I don't see anything really that problematic. There's too much money coming to the system. There's too many institutions stepping in. To me, this just seems like nothing more than a good excuse to shake some people out, get people out of the market, and really shake people out who don't really understand the industry, right? Shake people out who don't understand that this is completely unrelated. Shake people out who don't understand that this is bullish for the cryptocurrency sector over the long run. And unfortunately, those are the people who are going to get hurt the worst. And I wish there was more I could do, than come up here on these YouTube videos and really talk about it with you guys. But at the end of the day, most people make mistakes in times like this, and this is just one of those times to click off the charts. Don't think about anything. Close your eyes and understand that the fundamentals have never looked better, and prices will reflect that eventually. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and for now, Mickle out.